Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Thursday, February the 21st. I am making Thursday's video pretty early. I'm recording this on Tuesday noontime, Tuesday afternoon. Slates have been out for a while. The salaries have been out for a while. There's not a ton of injury news I think we need to wait and see on. Like, a lot of guys that were injured during the All-Star or before the All-Star break are most likely going to return. Lonzo Ball unlikely to return, but we know Rozier is probably going to play. Goran Dragic might be back. He could potentially return. He's expected to be available shortly after the All-Star break, so might not return for this game, but should be back soon. A guy like T.J. Warren should be back after the All-Star break. Should be able to play against Cleveland. We know he was injured a bit, but that week of rest should, put him healthy. And then guys with like minutes restrictions, something we're gonna have to wait and see on, but we can expect Karis LeVert plays more minutes. Boogie Cousins, another guy that's been playing limited minutes, should see his minutes increase. Kevin Love could potentially be playing more minutes. With the week of rest, we should expect these guys to play a little bit more. Clint Capella, another guy that's been injured, but looks like he's going to be able to return for this game against the Lakers. So most of the injury news, we already know what's going to happen with that kind of news, so just wanted to go ahead and get Tuesday's video out. We still do have 2 more days of no basketball. I am recording this on Tuesday. You might be watching this Tuesday when it goes up. You might be watching this Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. But definitely feels good to have basketball soon approaching. If you're watching this on Thursday, then obviously basketball will be back. The All-Star break has been nice so far. Haven't really played any DFS, haven't done any hockey or anything, just haven't been playing at all. But I'm ready to get back to it, ready to get back to Thursday slate and really try and make some money. It is a 6-game slate, and it does look like a pretty nice one. We do have some good games on this slate. We're going to start off at point guard, though. We'll work our way through each position, talk about some of the guys that I like. We'll look at DraftKings and Yahoo. I do want to note that Yahoo is running a 100K rake-free tournament, first day back from All-Star break, so on Thursday, 100K tournament, 10 entry max. If you want to get in there, it's rake-free. Would highly suggest you do so. I've already got my 10 entries in there. Definitely ready for Thursday to try and take this thing down. Hopefully Yahoo continues to run 100K tournaments. Lately they've been kind of dropping them. They've been running like 50Ks and 25K tournaments, which has still been filling. If this one fills, maybe they'll keep running them. We'll see. But definitely wanted to get in this 100K tournament with 10 entry max and rake free. Obviously a great tournament to get into. But let's go ahead and start off at point guard and start looking at this slate, guys. So at the top here you got James Harden, 11,600 against the Lakers. Good matchup for Harden, but 11,600 is just not a price tag I want to pay for James Harden with Chris Paul fully healthy. We have Giannis for cheaper. We have LeBron for 1,000 cheaper. Even Joel Embiid at 10-3 we could potentially go to. So Harden's not really on my radar today. If I'm going to pay up at point guard, I'm probably going to be looking to a guy like Steph Curry or Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard would probably be my favorite player here at this position, 8,600. On Yahoo, though, it looks a little bit nicer to go with a guy like Steph Curry. Steph Curry looks really nice on Yahoo at just $36. He's the same price as Damian Lillard. He's $3 cheaper than Kyrie Irving. Definitely like me some Steph Curry on Yahoo. I like Lillard on Yahoo as well, but on DraftKings, where Lillard's 8,600, he would probably be my favorite pay-up option if I were to go to someone here. But I don't really see any core plays at the top. In this mid-range, I think Chris Paul is really nice at 7,600. Really nice on Yahoo as well at $28. I feel like Chris Paul at $28 on Yahoo is going to be a core play for me. That price tag is just too cheap for Paul now that he's going to be playing 34, 35 minutes. Last game before the All-Star break against the Timberwolves, he played 35 minutes, had 37 fantasy points. I think he probably projects for 35, 36 minutes. And in the matchup with the Lakers, probably projects for about 40 or 41 fantasy points. At $28, that's just way too cheap for Chris Paul, so I like him quite a bit on Yahoo. On DraftKings, if you want to go to a guy like Devin Booker for 100 more, I think that's okay, but with T.J. Warren likely to return for this game against the Cavs, that is going to take some usage away from Devin Booker. I think him and Chris Paul are pretty decent plays, but like on Yahoo where Chris Paul's 28 and guys like Booker are 32, Russell's 32, Simmons is 33, really like Chris Paul in that situation. He's one of my favorite plays over on Yahoo. But now looking in the cheaper mid-range and looking for some value at point guard, I do like Karis LeVert quite a bit today. He's point guard small forward on DraftKings. You definitely probably want to play him at small forward because small forward just overall is usually a weaker position. On Yahoo, he's small forward as well. I think he's a really good play today. He's $16 over here. We saw last game before the All-Star break, Karis LeVert got the start, moved into the starting lineup against the Cavs. Still played with the minutes limit, but did play 30 minutes in that game against the Cavs. That game did go to triple overtime, so obviously LeVert didn't play in any of the overtime periods. But the fact that he played 30 minutes right before the All-Star break I would expect that he doesn't really have any minutes restriction here. And if he's going to be playing 33, 34 minutes, 5,100 is just too cheap of a price tag for Karis LeVert, especially in a pace-up spot against Portland. Portland does play good team defense, but they do play at a fast pace. Brooklyn has been playing a lot faster lately. This game does have a lot of appeal. And I really like Karis LeVert today. I expect he's going to be popular, but just makes so much sense. With no minutes restriction, we would expect 5,100, too cheap of a price tag for LeVert. So like him quite a bit if you're looking for a cheaper value play at point guard. But I think that's it for value at this position, so let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard. So at shooting guard, if I'm paying up here, it's kind of the same guys I've talked about. You have Steph Curry at 9K if you want to play him. You got Booker at 7,700. You could go to I don't mind him either. In the mid-range, though, looking for mid-range, shooting guard options really isn't a ton that stands out to me. Don't see any core plays, but there is a value play that I do like at shooting guard. I really like Bogdanovic. He's only 4,500 on DraftKings, which feels like way too cheap of a price for this matchup against the Warriors. The Warriors do play at a fast pace. The Kings play at a fast pace as well. This game should be high scoring. Hopefully it stays competitive. If it does stay competitive, we should probably get about high 20s, low 30s out of minutes, or high 20s, low 30s minutes out of Bogdanovic. Definitely projects for high 20s, low 30s in fantasy points. And 4,500 for a guy that projects for probably 30 fantasy points is way too cheap of a price tag. His price tag dropped a lot. He was 4,900 in that game against Denver. Then he dropped down to 4,500 for this matchup with the Warriors. I really like Bogdanovic as a value play. It's a little bit different on Yahoo. He's at small forward over here, and he's $18. I think he's okay, but you do have LeVert for $2 cheaper. And I think I would rather play LeVert there. But on DraftKings, where you can play Bogdanovic at shooting guard or small forward, and he's only 4,500, I think he really stands out as a good shooting guard value play. I do like him quite a bit if you need a cheaper option at this position. But let's go ahead and move on to small forward. Talk about this position. So we do have Giannis and LeBron at the top here, Kevin Durant as well. I really like Giannis today at 10,800 against the Celtics. I know the on-paper matchup doesn't look very good, but Giannis so far this year, even in tough matchups, has been able to succeed. He really hasn't done that bad here against Boston when they have faced this year. He's faced them twice. He's averaged 53.6 DraftKings points through 2 games against the Celtics. You would expect this game to stay close, so I think we could probably see Giannis play high 30s in minutes. In competitive games this year, Giannis is playing like 34, 35 minutes in blowouts, which obviously the Bucks are so good. They're blowing teams out a ton this year. We're only getting like 30, 31 minutes out of Giannis. In a game against the Celtics that expects to be close, I think Giannis probably plays high 30s, 35, 36 minutes. Definitely projects for high 50s, maybe even low 60s in fantasy points. If LeBron James is going to be a lot more popular than Giannis, I would just rather play Giannis for 200 more. I don't mind LeBron at 10,600 against against the Rockets. I think he is a good play as well, but do prefer Giannis. On Yahoo, they're both at power forward. Giannis is $50, LeBron is $47. Still prefer Giannis over here as well. Like I said, LeBron's a decent play. If he's going to be more popular, I would rather play Giannis. If Giannis is going to be more popular, then I think you could go to LeBron. But I expect since LeBron's cheaper, he's probably going to be the more popular out of the two studs. People are going to see the tough matchup against the Celtics, and most likely are going to want to shy away from Giannis. But I still have a ton of interest in him today. I think he is my favorite spend-up option if I am going to spend up for someone on this slate. And I do expect there to be enough cheap value to where you can probably fit in at least one stud of your choice. I think Giannis is the guy that I want to go to on this slate. But let's talk about some other small forwards. If we're not going to Giannis at the top, you've got some of the guys I've talked about. LeVert, you can play at small forward. Bogdanovic, you can play at small forward. Kyle Kuzma, coming off his Rising Stars MVP, I think at 5,900 against Houston, is definitely a play you could go to if you want to play Kyle Kuzma. I think he's okay if you're going to that mid-range at least. Seti Osman at 5K against the Suns might be a little bit too cheap if he's going to be back to playing full minutes. 14 and 25 minutes in his 2 games back from injury. You would expect coming off the All-Star break, coming off a week of rest, Osman probably gets back to 30-plus minutes. With Kevin Love healthy now, obviously this team has more depth. They've got more bodies, so I don't think Osman plays like 38 minutes like we've seen earlier this year, but he plays even 30, 32 minutes against the Suns at 5K, definitely is an option we could consider if we're going to this price range at small forward. Value-wise, though, really there's no value here I like besides the guys I've talked about. So let's go ahead and move on to power forward. Talk about this position. Larry Nance is a guy I want to mention at the top here. He's $7,200 against the Suns. Very expensive price tag for Larry Nance. Don't know if I want to pay this price now that Kevin Love is probably not going to be limited as much. Also, Ante Zizic started last game over Larry Nance. They started Love at the 4, I believe, and Nance at the 5, or I can't remember. I know they started Zizic at the 5. I think they started Marquise Chris or something, but I know Nance came off the bench in their last game against Brooklyn. Love was actually out for that game. I remember Love being out, but Nance still didn't even get the start with Love out. They started Zizic, so I would expect Nance probably continues to come off the bench. 7,200 is just too much of a price tag to pay if he's not going to be playing 30-plus minutes. When Nance comes off the bench, his minutes are usually a little bit down. When he starts, he usually plays like 34, 35 minutes. When he comes off the bench, he really only plays like 28, 29 minutes. And at 7,200, you're going to need him to play as many minutes as he can to pay off that price tag. So hard for me to have a ton of interest in Larry Nance today. If Kevin Love's not going to be limited, or at least going to play like upper 20s in minutes, at 6,900, he looks really good against the Suns. If Kevin Love's even going to play, or if Kevin Love's not going to have a minutes restriction at all, and he can go out there and play 30-plus minutes, he's probably one of the best plays on the slate at 6,900, especially against the Suns. Definitely going to have to wait and see on Kevin Love's minutes, what we project for him later on Thursday, and we should get more clarity on that. But let's talk about some other power forwards. Draymond Green at 6K feels a little bit too cheap. I know Boogie is probably not going to be limited rest of the season now that he's probably fully healthy. I expect Boogie probably plays 30-plus minutes rest of the season, at least when he's not on a back-to-back. So that's going to hurt Draymond Green a little bit, but still 6K for Draymond Green, especially in a pace-up spot against the Kings, does feel pretty nice if you want to play him. Nikola Mirotic should be able to play for this game against the Celtics. He should be able to make his debut for the Bucks, so he could be really interesting at 5,900. He's probably going to come off the bench, but definitely should be able to get some open looks. And playing with this good Milwaukee team should allow him to get some shots up, so he could be an option. You have Cedi Osman at 5K, who I talked about. Definitely like him if you want to play him. But power forward-wise, I think that's it for value at this position. So let's go ahead and talk about center. There are a lot of good plays at center, a lot of plays I really like at this position. Joel Embiid at 10-3 is not my favorite play here against Miami. I think there's other guys I would rather play. I'd rather play Giannis. I'd rather play LeBron over Embiid. Don't have a ton of interest in Embiid, especially because Yusuf Nurkic is probably my favorite play at this position. He's a guy that I really like today. 7,400 against Brooklyn. He looks really good on Yahoo as well. Only $27 over here. Yusuf Nurkic looks like one of the top center plays. I expect he's probably going to be pretty popular today, but for good reason. It's just such a good matchup. This Brooklyn team has been getting killed by bigs all year. Centers against Brooklyn is something we always want to target, especially a aggressive center like Yusuf Nurkic, who can really hurt you down low in the paint. Obviously has a really good offensive game. We could definitely get like a 2020 or at least like a 2015 game out of Yusuf Nurkic here. Obviously Nurkic can really dominate on the boards when he wants to, and against this Brooklyn team should be able to do so. So 7,400, too cheap of a price tag for Yusuf Nurkic. Looks like one of the best center plays if you're paying up at this position. If you want to get away from Nurkic, I don't love doing that because I think he's really the top play here, but you do have Clint Capella at 7K, who should be able to play here against the Lakers. We'll have to be a wait and see if he's going to be limited or not, but Capella is not going to be limited. 7K against the Lakers looks really nice. You got Kevin Love at 6,900, who, if he is not limited, would also be a really good play. So I guess there's other guys you could go to, but I still would prefer Nurkic over those two guys. DeMarcus Cousins is someone I want to talk about. 6,100 on DraftKings. He looks really good today, especially against the Kings. Really good matchup. Played 28 minutes in his last game before the All-Star break against the Jazz. I would expect with a week of rest, we're going to get Cousins playing 30-plus minutes, most likely rest of season. And if Cousins is going to be playing 31 minutes here at 6,100 against the Kings, just way too cheap of a price tag for Boogie. Plus, you factor in the revenge game, should be able to dominate in this matchup. The Kings have been getting killed by bigs all year. Bigs versus the Kings is something we've been targeting all year, just like bigs versus Brooklyn. Bigs versus the Kings something you want to go to. So really like Boogie today. On Yahoo, he's also a really good play. It's a little bit tougher to fit him in with the guys I've already played or plugged in. We will talk about a value play I like at center, but Cousins at 23 on Yahoo also looks really, really nice. I think he is a good play on both sites, especially on DraftKings at 6,100. Should easily be able to get 6x value. I would be surprised if Boogie scores less than 35 fantasy points today, especially if he's going to be playing 30 or more minutes. But the value play that I do want to talk about at center is JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee is 5,200 on DraftKings. I think he's a fine value. I don't think he's a must-play by any means, but on Yahoo, where he's only $14, he looks really nice over here. 3 games since Zubac got traded to the Clippers, we've gotten 29, 26, only 13 minutes against the Hawks, which was definitely a shocker. JaVale McGee was like one of the most popular plays that day. We were all expecting him to play 30 minutes against the Hawks and be like one of the best values. That didn't happen, just 13 minutes, but the 2 games before that, he played 26 minutes against Philly, 29 minutes against Boston. And that game against Philly where he played 26 minutes, that game was a blowout, so the game would have been close. McGee probably would have played 30 minutes. If Clint Capella is back, you would expect JaVale McGee is going to be needed here. You're not going to be able to play a guy like Kyle Kuzma at the 5, or I doubt they play LeBron at the 5 against Clint Capella. So I expect JaVale McGee probably plays high 20s, low 30s in minutes. $14 on Yahoo is just really way too cheap. He probably projects for 28 to 30 fantasy points if he's going to be playing the amount of minutes we expect him to. Definitely could have a better game than that, though. We could get 35, 40 fantasy points out of JaVale McGee here, especially on Yahoo where you get 3 points per block. We know JaVale McGee, one of the best shot blockers in the league, so really like him as a value play over here if you want to play him on Yahoo. You can definitely play him on DraftKings as well, but if you can find like $900, you could get up to Boogie, who I don't mind. There's not really any cheap centers I love, maybe like Ante Zizic at 4,400, but still you could go to McGee at 5,200 if you want to play him on DraftKings. But I think that is it for center. I think that's it for this position. I think that's it for the video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video, and hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you click that like button down below. I would appreciate it. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. We are getting close to 14,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. I would appreciate it if you would subscribe if you have not already. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.